Hey Yoke, what's the word with my people, the BC Leaks Army? And the newbies who want to join, keep watching, you gotta earn your stripes. My name is Tyler, the host, and yeah, it's been bearish lately, but are the markets gonna turn bullish? Well, find out in about 10 minutes or less, because it's time for Chico Crypto. Bearish or bullish? That is the million-dollar question. Last week, amazing news. Coinbase announced the day of their direct listing, April 14th. Pulling out the BTC price chart, we can see the news got the price to touch 60K on the day of it last week when it was announced, April 1st. But since the announcement, the price has been stair-stepping its way down. So what's the deal? Especially lately, 2 days ago, Coinbase revealed their financials and projections for 2021. And boy howdy, it was bullish. Quarter 1 2021, over 56 million verified users. Trading volume, 335 billion. Total revenue for the quarter, 1.8 billion, which equaled net income between 730 million to 800 million. Yet with that news and information, it made the markets take a significant plunge yesterday. The million-dollar question is, what is going on? Is this just a dip before the April storm? Is this just a bit of market manipulation for accumulation before the next FOMO cycle? Or is there more to this story? Well, this is Chico Crypto, and I think there is more to this story, as this news didn't even make it to the airwaves. The founder and CEO of BitMEX surrendered to US authorities. Maybe that is the reason for the big plunge yesterday. Now, I know many of you who watch this channel are new and don't even know who BitMEX and Mr. Hayes are, but they used to control the crypto markets. Their exchange was where the volume was, including all the way up to the last major plunge in March of 2020. Hard to remember for many, but Chico doesn't forget. The community during that crash was crying foul play by the exchange as it went down during the crash, literally screwing over so many traders. This caused even the likes of SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, to call out the exchange, putting his theory out there that there was no hardware issues. But 1 year before this event, that crash, Mr. Hayes had the debate of his lifetime, the Tangle in Taipei with Nouriel Roubini, July 15th, where he said some things he might regret.
But you will understand that in the scale of global regulation, the SEC New York, the regulatory authorities in London or in Frankfurt are on a slightly different scale than the regulatory authorities in the Seychelles.
It just costs more to bribe them.
Costs more to bribe them.
Yeah.
But that's not really an answer, is it?
It is an answer. What do you think?
So how much are you?
Banks?
So how much are you paying to bribe the Seychelles authorities?
A coconut.
Yeah, Mr. Hayes was talking about bribes. It cost a lot of money to bribe the US, but that is neither here nor there for now. Within that conversation, Mr. Hayes leaked something that could tie this all together. A question was asked by the moderator about the New York AG investigation into Tether. Let's hear the entire question and answer now and then break down what was said.
As crypto develops, aren't you worried that it does get increasingly enmeshed in scandals? I mean, we've had this latest one now of the Attorney General in New York going after Tether. Tether thought to be a stable coin linked to the dollar, used by a lot of other cryptos because it had that link and it helped them with transactions. Now it's under investigation. It looks like $850 million seems to have gone missing. Nobody's quite sure. Doesn't that concern you that you're going to get more and more on that and that you get more reputational damage done to the whole crypto play?
Number one, Tether is not a cryptocurrency. Tether is a money market fund with a bunch of US dollars potentially sitting in some bank accounts. So
crypto uses it.
Yes, crypto uses it because they don't have banking access. So it does provide a valuable service to the industry. Now, what I found amazing about the Tether episode is after the New York AG went after them with this $850 billion, expose of the money not there, they were able to raise $1 billion in 2 weeks from the cryptocurrency community to keep Tether up and running. That to me says that the community values keeping one of the biggest companies around stable enough and came to their aid, just as the central bankers of the world come to the aid of the too big to fail banks. So we did for our own, and we kept the company alive. I think that's absolutely amazing.
So Arthur knew a whole heck of a lot how Tether worked, including their LEO IEO. And let's just replay what he said about raising the funds when the investigation was first released.
So we did for our own, and we kept the company alive. I think that's absolutely amazing.
Mr. Hayes said we. He said we twice, like he was a part of that community fundraise for BitMEX. He was involved, and he has information. I will tell you this, Arthur Hayes understands how the entire crypto markets work, and having him in custody isn't good. Why isn't it good? Remember the Tangle in Taipei with Nouriel Roubini. It happened July 15th, 2019. Within 4 days, it was announced by the CFTC that his exchange was under investigation. They started doing the work in July of 2019. It was just over a year later, October of 2020, they were charged. And then 6 months later, they are surrendering. Bindalo of BitMEX was the first on the run, the middle of March. And then, as we know, Arthur Hayes yesterday. What coincided this month with their surrenders? Binance is facing a similar probe as the CFTC oversees derivatives trading. This is important because Binance has taken over leverage and derivative trading right where BitMEX left off and then some. They are like BitMEX on steroids. Going to yesterday's volumes, there was over 71 billion 24-hour volume on the Binance Futures Exchange. That is outstanding because remember, Binance derivatives play is very young. It's brand new. They officially launched in September of 2019, but didn't do much out the gate. Using the Wayback Machine and looking at derivative volume back in December 2019, it was BitMEX that led the pack. But then after that March crash and BitMEX going offline we spoke of, a battle for volume and open interest ensued, but BitMEX was still fighting to be in the top. 1 month later, in April of 2020, BitMEX, OKX, Huobi, and Binance, the exchanges fought for the derivatives volume, and the volumes were similar, around 2 billion, although the likes of Binance and Huobi started to push up. And that trend continued all the way up to September of 2020, 1 month before BitMEX was charged. The four exchanges fighting for volume, no one really breaking out just yet. Now look at it 1 month after October and the announcement of the charges against BitMEX. In November of 2020, Binance clearly number one and going bananas. Over 21 billion in volume compared with BitMEX's 3.8 billion. Derivatives on steroids, and then a probe being launched where the steroid is happening? Well, you want to know something even scarier? Binance copied a lot of their futures platform from BitMEX. September of 2019, when Binance futures were launched on the testnet, BitMEX posted this tweet. Congrats on the testnet futures launch, Binance. Glad to see you enjoyed reading our documentation as much as we enjoyed writing it. And here's where things get super icky, sticky, ricky, mickey, sicky to me. CZ Binance replied to this tweet, but it has since been deleted. Luckily, the internet catches things, and a crypto slate caught his reply in their blog post back then titled, Binance accidentally copies BitMEX's futures documentation. Changpeng Zhao owns up to it. And here's what CZ said. Shame on us. Sorry about that. Missed this in the DD process before the acquisition. Didn't read the BitMEX docs ourselves. We'll fix/remove ASAP. It gives a link to the internal updated documentation. The important thing? He said they missed the copy before the acquisition. They acquired a BitMEX copy and paste platform. Binance futures back then were structured very similar to BitMEX's. So my friends, I'm the only channel who will bring up this type of information. I'm sure if I didn't talk about Arthur Hayes surrendering, you wouldn't have even known. I just find it highly coincidental. As soon as BitMEX founders are cooperating, the CFTC launches their probe against Binance. The original goes down. What's going to happen to the copy and pasta? I have no idea, but I'm holding in anticipation of the last hurrah. Cheers. I'll see you next time.